Before I go into this next piece, and I wanted to give honor to whom is due, PAVE, happy birthday, congratulations. You hit another milestone, which is a great thing, and I pray that you continually go forward strong so that more people can have access to you. I, too, am a survivor of many things from my childhood through majority of my adult life. And it's interesting because in my household, we don't always know what it is. We just know something's not right. So I've also witnessed it. And never would I have imagined of seeing my own sister have her life taken almost 3 years ago from an abuser she was trying to get away from down in Texas. It was insane. And because of that, that launched me and gave me even more drive and fire to do what it is that I do, to speak up about these things, and take my turn for being the voice for the voiceless. She wanted to stand for those who were victims and started her own company called The Anger Room, which are now known as Rage Rooms, where people can go break things. So she died for what she believed in, and I feel like I have to stand for what I believe in too. So here's my next piece for you. Life is one big, beautiful mess, ain't it? In the midst of the beauty, there's still stress caused by unwanted circumstances. And because of the society that we live in, we tend to sometimes get caught up in the wrong things, which produces confusion, anger, abuse. We point fingers and judge what we don't understand. We hate what we're truly afraid of because of being uncomfortable with difference, losing sight of what's important until we're hit with an unexpected blow that freezes us in our tracks. Right there are these moments that despite our differences, we are brought together and new realities are formed. Moments like the time when my sister told me she loved me for the first time. 30 years of my life, never have I heard words so sweet like the three until she finally admitted that she loved me too. Oh, and I rubbed it in her face. I basked in that glory. Unbeknown to me that months later, that joy would be snatched away by one who should be snatched of his stripes. In oblivion, I stood, looking the doctors and nurses in the face, convinced that I had enough faith that a miracle could happen, because miracles happen every day. So wake up, sis. Wake up and prove to them they're not right. Silence. In a world, they want us to just move on, right? Because it sure as hell will. And we move on, autopilot. Shook, because we don't understand what is going on in that moment. Our hearts ache. We're trying to wrap our minds around what is going on. Why is this happening to me? How come she didn't tell me I could have hopped on the next flight overnight? Why didn't her friends see? And who made him God that he can take control over someone else's life? Why didn't she fight? Wait a minute, what's going on? Everybody just stop for a second and let me think. Left with more unanswered questions, confusion. And even those of us who have survived fight day in and day out to take control of our lives after suffering for years at the hands of another. See, right there, those moments where we have found ourselves stuck in place is what make us alike, is what bring us together, a connection. We all have a story to tell. And regardless of how or what brought you and I here to this space, we must collide. Hearts in sync to one beat at like a steady drum. We must respond. We must respond so that for those who have survived can have a new opportunity to live, to thrive. They can love again, hope again, trust again. But we must stand together with one mind, one body, one voice, one sound that will resonate throughout the land so change can come. And we know it won't happen overnight, but as long as we remain diligent to fight, that we give them a chance to live, we will reduce the casualties that's going on. But it takes you and I to stand up and be strong and not be afraid of what's happening. And what do we do? What do we do now after the damage has been done? Do we continue to sit in fear, stifled by it? No. No. Yea, though we've walked through the valley of the shadow of death, death of our sanity, death of who we said we would be, death of our securities, though we walk through the shadow of cluelessness and hopelessness, we have survived. Because greater is he that is in me than he that is in this world. My eyes are now open, and now I realize that this is a season where silence cannot be our portion, and fear must be aborted. So no resin of it remains, and we can stand up and sing and fight again. But it takes each and every one to want to be able to speak up in whatever way that you know how. No longer bowing down to what the world says. I encourage you to be a light in a dark place. Be a light in a dark place even when those who cannot stand for themselves. Be the voice for the voiceless in any way that you can, so therefore they can hope again. Be willing to speak up. And maybe, just maybe those in our communities, may start to open their eyes so therefore they can recognize those signs. But it takes you and I to make that step forward. So be that light in that dark place so we can proclaim victory. Thank you.